Good morning. So I'm out here in the garden doing a garden chore that I don't know why I just have sort of neglected for a few years, but we're going to talk about the plant that I'm going to move and why I'm moving it. So if you look down, you can, or next to my knee, you can see there are three little tiny Asiatic lilies here. And this is Casa Blanca, which is a lily that I planted a very, very long time ago in this garden. And the garden where I'm in right now, although you can't see it on camera, and I hope the sound quality is going to be okay on this because my mic stopped working. If you look up, we're under the canopy of a red maple. But when this maple was small, this was a full sun garden. And so the Casa Blanca lilies was actually a really big stand. There were probably maybe 40 lilies in this one little area. And you can see in back of me too, there's a hydrangea paniculata, also a sun plant that might need some attention, but for now it's gonna stay. But anyways, the maple's gotten bigger. Some stuff had to be moved, but that's not what happened to the lily. The lily became a victim of the scarlet or red lily leaf beetle. And for those of you who've battled this pest, you know what a horrible, disgusting creature it is. And when I'm finished getting these lilies out of the ground, I'm going to show you it, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about it. But that's what happened. This huge stand of lilies was under constant attack by that red lily leaf beetle, and over time it just weakened the plant so much that they pretty much all died off. So I moved one last year. I don't know why I moved one and not all of these, but that one is rebounded and looks so beautiful. That's where I found the lily leaf beetle this morning. But now I got to get these out of the ground. Now these are little tiny plants, so they probably were just little bulblets at the time, and given the fact that they're growing underneath a maple, that's probably why they didn't get off to such a robust start, and the sun exposure. But I'm going to dig them out and move them where the other lily is, and while we're doing so, we'll talk about the lily leaf beetle. So if these were mature lilies, they would be really difficult to dig out because lilies have contractile roots, meaning wherever you plant them in the ground, their roots will contract and drag them down to where they want to be in the soil. But these are just bulblets, they're just little, so they should be pretty easy other than the fact that they're growing in maple roots. So I'll just give some good, loosen them up, and then I'll be able to pull them out probably by hand because of the fact that they're so small. So the lily leaf beetle came here from Canada, where it was introduced from Asia. Got one. Oh, let's just look at that little tiny leaf, little tiny bulb. All right, so now we have our lily bulbs dug out of the ground. Oh, I kind of broke this one, but that's good because I'm going to take the stems off anyway. When I replant them, I'm not going to leave any foliage. I'm just going to replant the bulbs. So I actually might turn the camera off and talk about the lily leaf beetle with the mic on. So hang tight. So let's chat about this lily leaf beetle. And I have one here in this jar, although you probably can't see it. And I found this morning on one of the one Casa Blanca that I had moved into another garden. And how I knew to look for it was the holes on the leaf. So if you just looked at the leaf when you were walking by, you would see some holes being munched in it, and you go in and see, and this beetle was actually on the plant. So before we get to how this beetle destroys your plant, let's talk about what to do if you see just an adult, this is an adult beetle. Their defense mechanism when somebody's coming after them is to drop to the ground, back on the ground, so no one can see the red. So if you go to catch them off the plant, their instinct is to just let go and fall on their back. So if you have a jar or something with you and you just go up to the plant and you come at them, sort of threaten them that you're going to pick them up, they'll drop. So if you have something right underneath it, they'll drop right into it. So that's how I caught this beetle. And so the beetle lays, each beetle can lay like 250 to 400 eggs in they only have one life cycle a season, but that's a lot of eggs. And it's the larvae that hatch that decimate the lilies. So what will happen is those larvae would just, they creep along and they eat the leaves, and the plant doesn't end up with any leaves left to photosynthesize, and it weakens and dies. And when you find the larva on the back, so if you don't see the red lily leaf beetle, you'll see piles of goo on the underside of your leaf. And you can Google it. There were no larvae on the plant, so I don't have any photos of it. But basically the larvae cover themselves in their own excrement or poo to protect themselves from predators. So you see this big massive bug poop, and inside there you'll see sort of like a tannish color larva with a black head, and that's the larva of the beetle. And that's what does all the damage to your lily leaves. So when I was really involved in the Master Gardeners at URI, and Dick Casagrande was my entomology teacher, and he was involved in a study they were doing there to release parasitic wasps, and that means a wasp that will actually oviposit or lay its eggs right into the beetle of the lily leaf beetle, right into the larva of the lily leaf beetle. So this wasp comes down, finds the larvae, injects its eggs right into it, and they feed off of it until it dies, and it never turns into a lily leaf beetle to reproduce anymore. So they did a release back then in Attleboro first, Rhode Island, and then they did a future release in Elm Bank in Wellesley. And this beetle had spread at that time down into all the New England states and New York. And now it's in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. But the wasp has only been released in, as far as I know, in New England, and is spreading itself around and has gotten here. So even though this beetle was here today, if it had laid eggs, chances are good that the wasp would have found them and killed them off. And I read how they had to study to make sure that the wasp wasn't going to just go crazy and kill off a whole bunch of other beetles besides this one. So they did studies to determine how the wasp found this particular beetle larva to lay its eggs in. And it uses, I guess, I'm going to call them scent cues. So a lot of things are attracted when a plant gets damaged. It sends off chemicals into the air, and that's a signal to a lot of insects for different reasons. But that attracted the wasps, because then they knew that if there was damage being done to the leaves, it was probably being done by this beetle. And the other thing that attracted the wasps was the scent of the crap or poo on the backs of the larvae. And how they found that out is by taking different beetle eggs and larvae and spreading that poo on them. And the wasp wouldn't typically go after those to lay its eggs, but it did if the poo of this beetle's larva was on that larva. So they just spread poo on other larvae, and then they realized that that's one of the things that attracted that particular wasp. So those wasps have gone into release around here, but they have not. I think they're about to in New York, and they have not in the Midwest or anywhere west of here. They move, at a pretty good clip. Like, it didn't take it that long for them to get here. And now we don't really have too many problems. We'll find the occasional beetle. You can hand pick them and put them in soapy water just like Japanese beetles. But watch out for the foliage on your lilies. And if you have damage, you can look at extension universities for their fact sheets for how to control them if you don't have the wasp near you. All right, so now I'm gonna go plant these next to the other lily, and I'm gonna hopefully in a few years have a stand that rivaled the one that I had here. So we'll see you soon. All right, I wanted to pop back out here to tell you one more thing. So I'm going to do it in front of the lily in where I found the lily leaf beetle this morning. So first you can see, I hope the camera is facing this, that you can see this is the damage on the leaf that I noticed when I was walking by. And that's where I found Mr. Lily Leaf Beetle. And this is the Casa Blanca that I had relocated. It's one of their absolute favorite lilies. Of all the lilies, they love the Asiatics best, but Casa Blanca in particular. And so I found the lily, and he's in here now. I don't know if I'll be able to get this in front of the camera enough for you to see him. He's getting a little tired, I don't want him to go back on the lily either. Let's see, flip over you. So there he is. Oops, don't lose him. Anyway, he's going down the toilet. But do you do that? Am I the only one who does that? I flush my slugs down the toilet. They're so gross. Anyway, so if you have lily leaf beetle, scarlet lily leaf beetle in your garden on your lilies causing damage, and you live in an area where there are no wasps, parasitic wasps that have been released to do biological control, you can help. And by help, I mean report. And so if you have the lily leaf beetle in your garden and your state is undergoing, and a lot are undergoing research to see how far it's spread and the amount of damage it's done before deciding if they're going to be involved in control, they're always looking for people to report if that beetle, where that beetle has spread to. So I'm going to see if I can find any current reporting online, and I'll link it in the description if you're interested. But you can always call if you have an extension university in your, or even a master gardener program in your area. Oftentimes they have first reporters that are part of that group you can let your county or your state know how far the beetle has spread, and that helps a lot in getting funding and getting interest in spreading biological controls when there's an invasive pest involved. Okay, so I'll try and find them, and I'll try and link some below, and happy gardening.